our Youth Day. There we go. Welcome, sir, to our Youth Day SIG. I do have to do him justice and give everyone on the call a brief synopsis of KK's profile. Like I said, it is our pleasure to welcome KK today as our guest speaker. KK is a renowned business strategist. He's also an author and a leadership expert with a passion for empowering entrepreneurs and future leaders. With over 2 decades of experience in digital transformation, entrepreneurship, development, and business growth strategy, KK has worked with both startups and multinational organizations across Africa and beyond. As the CEO of the A-Game business, he is fully committed to unlocking human and business potential through practical leadership, innovation, and mentorship. So, a challenge to all of us is to please be ready to be inspired by KK's dynamic insights and empowering message this evening. I do believe, KK, that you are wanting the session to be interactive. There is a message also on the chat directing everyone to a couple of artifacts or documents that we are going to use this evening. So without any further ado, we are 5 minutes after the hour. KK, you are welcome. And with that, I am handing over the platform to yourself, kind sir. Over
Thank
to you.
you. Thanks, Doc. I hope you guys can hear me. Can you hear me nice and clear, or do I have to
Nice
switch?
and clear from my end.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Is Debs not going to say a word or two? Because I thought she might want to say something. Yeah. Debs, are you in hiding?
Evening, everybody. You've caught me by surprise. As co-pilots do, we assist the takeoff and the flight and the landing. I'm very proud of you, KK. Honored to be working with you.
Thank you.
And what we've achieved in 3 short weeks is remarkable. Thanks to your passion and your energy and your commitment, we've managed to pull through with the Youth Month campaign all over social media. It's been so well received. You are an inspiration to all, and I truly hope that our guests this evening will appreciate the trouble that you've gone to and will benefit from tonight's session. And this isn't just it. This is only the beginning. This is the kickoff. So thank you very much, and enjoy the session.
Thank you. Thanks, Debs. Appreciate it. And thanks, Doc. Everyone, I'm actually lost for words, but I'll find them because I have a way of being able to do that. And I will switch my camera off shortly. But I just wanted to show my face for those who don't know me and just to say hi and thank you all for being here today. One of the first conversations Debs and I had about what it is that we're gonna, be doing with this special interest group, students, interns, and graduates. And one of the first things she said, and it really hit home for me, was when I asked her, what are we going to do, to cater to these young people, to these hungry people who got their life ahead of them. And she said, as long as we can provide enough information and insight where one of the students, interns, or graduates will one day say, you know what, my teacher never said that to me in college, or my lecturer never said that to me in university, and so on. And so today is one of those conversations that I think we hear a lot about goal setting and achieving goals and setting them. But as we know from stats around the world, that it's not an easy thing to do, right? And so what I did do over the years, as part of the last 10 years in terms of the work that I've been doing, is obviously working with entrepreneurs and busy executives. One of the things you want to do is support them to achieve their vision, their goals, through the business, of course, and in other ways. And I then sat down for a good couple of years, sat down and really developed what I believe is a system that's worked. It's been tested by a few, and by a few, I mean a couple of hundred entrepreneurs and business executives. So it's a fairly friendly goal setting framework. Today, my task is to introduce you to the concept, right, and to help you to put together some goals that will maybe help make the next 6 months of this year more fun than the first 6 months was, to help you get more focused, to help you get things done. That may be a lot to promise in an hour. This is a book, it is a system, and so today is merely the introduction of that concept. And as the doctor said, what we're going to do is we've shared actually a link. If you don't see the link, maybe just say that you haven't seen it, and we'll share it again. But essentially, we are then going to use these templates to then develop our goals today. With that said, I'm going to share my screen, and as part of the presentation, I will then take you through the system today, and I will definitely prompt you when we do need you to download or to open one of the sheets. I will share it on my screen as well to make it easy for us to kind of follow. And if there are any questions, please do ask them. Send them in the chat. What Debs and the team will do is they'll collate them, and if I can address them at that moment as I see them come in, I will definitely do that. Otherwise, we'll just wait for a break during the activities. So there will predominantly be one main activity that I'm going to ask that you do. So there will be a slot where for 5 minutes, I ask you to complete some of the questions. I know people like Tulile have done that in the past. So we'll give the other members time to do that as well. And then before we move on to the next step, it won't be long of a presentation. It's a fairly short one as we summarized it as much as we could. Yeah, you'll get a taste of what the online course feels like. Yeah, Debs, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to share my screen. Sorry, I see a hand. Somebody wants to ask a question. Is it you, Doc?
Me. Yeah, yep. That's from me, KK. I would like to mention to everyone on the call, as part of our due diligence, that we do have the session recorded for future use, and we would like to have it uploaded to YouTube as per our standard practice. If there are no objections to that, we'd appreciate everyone's consent. Thank you.
Thanks, Doc.
Back to you, sir.
Thanks. Right, I see also Sfiso just joined. Hi, Sfiso.
Hi.
Well, great. We are getting started. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Everyone, I'm just going to shoot, and then if there are any questions, please go ahead and ask. But essentially, today's lesson or today's insights and sharing is really based around a book or a body of work that I'm very proud of myself, that I've been working on for about 15 years now. The concept that birthed all of it is this book called The A-Game Business Blueprint. And it's made up of 4 quadrants more than anything. And it just so happens that the first quadrant is speaking to personal vision, right? And as part of personal vision, goal setting is one of those aspects. And it's part of helping people become entrepreneurial. And entrepreneurial, we don't mean just for the fact of having a business, because one of the things I like to say is, you don't have to own a business in order to be entrepreneurial, right? Being entrepreneurial is really being a problem solver, somebody who takes risks, and risk doesn't mean starting a business. It means really stepping out, showing up like you are here today. That's all entrepreneurial, seeking knowledge and the likes. And so what I'm sharing with you today is part of that concept, which is part of the A-Game Business Blueprint. I've been introduced by the good doctor, and these are just some of the books. The A-Game Goal Achiever is the last book that we published. It's 2 years now. However, the system has been around for more than 10 years, and so we decided, let's put it out as a book. And what we are looking to do now is to actually develop it into an app. Yeah. So if some of you on the call are interested to take on that challenge, we are here to meet with you on that challenge. And next, I'm going to play you a short 1-minute video just on what my business does, just so you have an idea on the context in terms of where everything else is coming from. Yeah. Is the sound coming through?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Let's just play that again.
Are you struggling to stand out in a crowded market and overwhelmed by the complexity of digital transformation? Welcome to A-Game Business. We're here to transform the way you approach business growth. As a business transformation agency, we offer the strategies, technology, coaching, and training to help you drive growth and results. From defining a strategy to differentiate your business and help you establish a powerful online presence. We support you in creating products customers love and to improve overall brand affinity. For example, our fractional CMO service empowers you to build your own in-house digital marketing capability to save costs while taking full control of your brand narrative. However, if you prefer to outsource these services to us, we'll gladly take on the burden and turn it into positive results for you. Whether that's marketing, sales, or implementing processes and systems, we're to support you.
Thank you. And then these are some of the clients that we've worked with over the years. You know, one of the interesting things about that video, it was done all with AI. You know, it's just funny how the world has moved in terms of where we are today. It was actually done by one of our SMEs at Animation SA. We're really proud of that video, yeah? So with that said, why is today important? Why is goal setting important? First and foremost, it's important because you can't, after all, reach a goal that you have never defined, right? So today I'm going to share with you a system and a process that's going to help you to not only, you know, develop goals, but it's going to help you to. Sorry, if Younger can just mute herself. So essentially, the reason why all of this is so important is because you want to encapsulate something that sometimes we forget about. We just jump straight into our business goals or our personal goals, and we don't look at a holistic view of what our personal vision looks like. And so the way that we approach this, the process of developing goals is to help you encapsulate everything that you would like to be, that you'd like to do and have as an individual, and to help you express it in a narrative, in a dream, a narrative from where you then want to be in the future, and then it reflects who you want to be in the future, and then we bring that back into the present so that we can then define the map and the goals that's going to help us to achieve that. And why is it important to have it as a narrative? Whether you're an intern, student, professional, you're an executive, you're a business owner, the reason why you want to develop and define your personal vision statement or your personal vision narrative is because in almost all cases, your goals will really take shape together with the interest and the vision of other people as well. So what you want to do is you want to share this document that I'm going to help you to produce very quickly using ChatGPT. It's going to take maybe 5 minutes of answering some questions, which we'll do together. And then yeah, we'll take it forward. But essentially, I'm going to help you to develop a personal vision narrative, which in the past, and I'll tell you why I did this, decided to do this. For years, when we've had the book, right, because we used to share the book prior to it being published in the system, and we couldn't get people to move forward in terms of, number one, even opening the book to read it, never mind doing the exercises. And so with obviously the advent of AI, ChatGPT, and other LLMs, we then decided, hey, let's try and make it easy for our people. You know, let's trick them into wanting to read this book, right? Because let's be honest, you know, developing goals is not necessarily the most exciting things. But so we've tried our best to make it exciting. And so I'm looking forward to sharing that next step with you. So another reason why this is important, as a business owner and as an executive, you know, all shareholders, stakeholders really need to be clear at an individual level as to what they want, okay? Because we found that there's a massive link in terms of what drives people's personal interests relative to how much they actually put in at work, at school, at college, even in their relationships. And so having this narrative written out really helps to motivate people to take this process of developing goals that much more serious. And once you've developed it, you want to share it with your mentor. You want to share it with your better half. You know, if you're married, share it with your spouse. If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, share it with that person that's special in your life. Because as I said, you know, our goals almost always take shape together with the interest and vision of other people. And we know the importance of being supported by other people. And so the goal achiever system is really going to help you to capture, organize, to act on your goals, and more than that, to track the progress over the period at which you obviously want to develop, execute, and achieve those goals, which is essentially a period of about 18 months to 3 years. We always say, you know, define your personal vision narrative to define what you'd like to achieve in the next 18 months to 3 years, and not anything beyond that. I mean, you could go and do that, but in terms of your goal setting, just practicality, you want to keep it within 18 months to 3 years. And there's really an easy way, or the right way. The easy way that we were then able to do, as I mentioned earlier, is we've put together this very basic ChatGPT that only does 2 things, to be honest with you, which is to help you kickstart the process, which I'm going to share with you first and foremost, and then we'll jump into the ChatGPT and help you to implement at least the first exercise, the first 2 exercises, let's call it. The rest of it, I will share with you today what it looks like, and then you can then obviously take it upon yourself to develop it or your own and follow the book. The book is really detailed in terms of its ability to help you to follow through on that process. And then depending on the interest in the group, because I'm more than happy to avail myself maybe once every 2 weeks, you know, for about 2 months, where we get together around this particular discussion around our goals, where we keep each other accountable and we help each other to really reflect on our goals every week or every second week whenever we would meet, because it's important that you continuously obviously track your goals, right? So this book is going to help you to do the easy way, which I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes, and then of course the right way, which is to go through the entire process. All right, so as mentioned, Debs, do you want to just maybe share that link again? I don't know if it's available to everyone right now who came in after it was shared. I believe it is.
Surely. Let me
Great.
do that
So
now.
thank you. If you can just share that link again. Guys, essentially what you're seeing on my screen are the bits and pieces of the documents that you'll be downloading. You'll download the PDF book and of course its supporting templates. So don't stress too much about what's happening right now. We are going to look at specifically one document that we're going to use to then develop this, to develop your personal narrative. And that's when the lights are going to go on. And I think after that, we'll probably just have a few minutes to discuss. Some of you will have questions. So I'm more than happy to kind of stop after we've produced our individual personal narratives in terms of what it means and how all of this is going to work. But before we do that, so maybe in the meantime, you can just click on the link and try and make sure you download your set of templates. So what I'm going to share with you now are the 7 steps, okay? Very high level, the 7 steps that will help you to define and achieve your goals over a specified period of time. So the very first step that we are going to do is something that I won't ask you to do now, but you can do later on once you've gone through your own time, and you've gone through your specific goals, which your personal narrative will help you. So how the system works, especially for young people who are still starting out, essentially many of us are motivated, right, by physical things, i.e. the things that we are able to produce, you know, whether it's a salary at the end of the month, a business, or whatever the case may be. And so one of the things that we always suggest as the very first step towards setting your goals is you want to determine what your future monthly income looks like. right? So people, I know Tulila has gone through this exercise. So people like Tando and Sfiso and Lutando, guys, I'd like you to project yourself into the future, right? So 18 months, 3 years from now. Let's call it 3 years from now. That would be 2006, 7, 8. Let's call it June or December 2028, right? Look at yourself then and consider what you would like to be earning as an amount, as a rand amount. It could be dollars. Let's use rands to simplify the process. So whether that's going to be 25,000, 50,000 rand, let's please be practical, especially if you're already in a job that's that sets a standard for you, right? Because we know that there's only so much upward maneuvering that we can do in a single company or in a single job. Okay, but for now, what I'd like you to do in your mind, you can write it down if you like. It will come up again in the exercise we're going to do. I'd like you to determine your future monthly personal income, meaning how much you'd like to earn per month from June 2028 or December 2028, right? Does that make sense? If I can just get some thumbs up. If I don't get thumbs up, please ask questions. Step number 1, simply determine how much it is that you'd like to earn. Thanks, Lutando. Thanks, Doc. All right, Yanga, see you. Tando, appreciate it. Thanks, Steps. Okay, so that's clear, right? As I mentioned, we formulated the system predominantly for business people, right? So business owners, shareholders, stakeholders within a business. So I'm going to ask that we skip step 2 for the purpose of this webinar, right? If you need to start your own business, I know, for example, Lutando is a student, but he's also running a business, someone who's actually in the process of helping us set up some AI agents. Lutando is one of those very bright young people, devs, that will be great for you guys to meet. Phenomenal young men. And so I know some of you have got you might be considering starting your own businesses, but for the purpose of today, let's please skip step 2. All right. So now what I'm going to do with you is step 3, which is where we are then going to do the exercise that I mentioned. Step 3 is we then need to define our personal and business narrative, but we're just going to define our personal one for now, okay? I'm going to need you to please pay attention, because what we're going to be doing is a little tricky in order to make it a shortcut for you, okay? So have you all downloaded your templates? And I just make sure that you've all downloaded your templates. Thank you, Tando. Okay, great. Wonderful. So I'm going to just minimize my presentation for now. And then I'm going to open the documents myself. Right? Now, in the list of documents, if you've downloaded all of them, okay, you will see, number 1, it says personal vision narrative questions for ChatGPT, right? So we've got that document twice. This is the old school one, the long way of doing it. But what we decided is let's have a shortcut, as I mentioned, okay? So you're going to open this document, right? And you'll obviously have your own time to go through it. You know, when you do read the book, you'll come back through this exercise. Remember, my job here is to try and help you to have that shortcut that's going to make this entire process easy for you. So how does it work? Essentially, if you were doing this on your own, you know, you take 20 minutes, right, to go through this exercise, but we're going to do it in under 5 minutes, okay? What I need you guys to do is very quickly, again, you can repeat this exercise. I just want to make sure that we help you to build that momentum. I need you to think and reflect. Close your eyes if you want. I need you to think about these critical areas in your life. Think about your health, right? How healthy are you? How healthy do you want to be? Sorry, Sfiso and Lerato, I think they just came. Sfiso, if you look in the chat, there is a link that you can use to just download. That's where they're.
Yeah, sorry. I actually clicked on the link, but I couldn't exactly find where it is.
Okay, Tibbs. Let's see, I'm just clicking on the link myself.
Because yeah, it just takes me to this site.
Oh, here they are. Here they are.
Oh,
Can you see
down
them?
there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, here they are.
All right, cool.
Okay, so the first one is, so the main book, what you can do is you can download the one personal vision narrative questions for ChatGPT. Do you see that?
Okay, sure.
All right, we good? All right, great.
Yeah.
So when you open that document, this is what it's going to look like, okay?
Okay.
All right, I know some of you probably, you know, still young enough to not be thinking about children, but place yourself in the future, right? I'm sure you've thought about these things. You know, what kind of career do you want to have? What job role and what position are you thinking, right? What kind of work are you doing? What kind of people do you have as your colleagues, your mentors, your business partners? What is your income and personal net worth looking like at that moment? Family, are you married? What kind of material possessions do you have? Are you traveling? You know, do you go on holidays with your family, by yourself, or with your loved one? Education, and what kind of work and charity work are you doing in society, right? So that's a high level reflection. And then we're going to take 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes, guys. And I'm sorry that I'm asking that we rush this process, but again, it's to help you to at least get the process started, and then post this webinar, you can then go through this process again. I just want to help you to get started. So what you're going to do in the next 5 minutes is then answer these questions. You're all lucky you don't have to send them to me. I remember one of the things Tulile said was yes, and it's very true. It's very personal. Some of these questions are very personal, and you may find it difficult to share it with other people, but you don't have to, and that's why we quickly created this ChatGPT to help you with that. So here's what I'd like you to do. Think about what you've achieved. Remember where we are. We are 18 months, right? 18 months to 3 years into the future. That's where we are. Now, I need you to think about what have you achieved then, you know? Maybe you work as a data analyst. I don't know. First bank that comes to mind at FNB, right? What have you achieved? You bought a house. Or you've graduated your honors or masters. Whatever that is, okay? Don't stress too much about your grammar being perfect, but it needs to be clear. How much do you earn a month? Maybe you earn 50,000 Rand a month. Okay. Did you marry your partner? Are you celebrating your 3rd, 6th, or 10th anniversary? Married, celebrating 5th anniversary. Okay. Are your kids in college? Got no kids, that's fine. You can say no kids. Where do you live? This question is important in terms of clarity. Where do you live? Think exactly about where you'd like to live. So wanted to move to Cape Town this year. Didn't happen, but it was for good reason. So you could say Kensington or wherever, right? But be as clear as possible. How big is your house? 5-bedroom house. A pool. Man cave. Right? I love recording studios with the recording studio as well. So remember, take a few minutes and answer as many of these questions as possible. And I'd like you to answer all of them, please. Right? Skip the ones that are obviously not important. Car. Yeah. Okay. Specify the color or car, whatever it is. The idea is to be as clear as possible. Trust me on this. Okay. How many times do you travel on holiday? 3 times. Is this making sense, guys? I feel like I'm talking to myself. Just give me a thumbs up if it's working. All right, great. The important thing is to get you to think about these things, and sometimes we don't give ourselves the chance to think about these things. Yeah. What is your personal net worth? Okay. 10 million. 10,000 champions. GF Foundation. That's from a charity perspective. So my parents, though divorced, I still have a strong relationship with both, as well as with my siblings. Okay. Or my friends. Debs, you and I are going to be big buddies after this. So Simpiu and Charles are friends of mine that I've been friends with for over 30 years. Can you believe it? Okay, what investments do you have? I can skip that if I want. What am I studying, not studying? Have I published a book? Yes. Published my 10th. Yeah. Which is a real one, yeah. Okay. So what else is in sight for you to achieve here? It could be anything. Maybe you want to start a business, right? Because this is, so far we haven't actually discussed anything of that nature. If you want, you can insert it. It could be anything here. Maybe you want to move to the States. Okay, maybe you want to go farming in the States. Who knows? Or you could start a Pee-wee soccer league like I want to do. Yeah. Soccer league for boys and girls under 13. Okay. Right. You should be done now. How far are we? Please give me a thumbs up if you're done. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect right now because you are going to have a chance to do this again, right? Thank you, Yanga. And it wouldn't be fair to ask ChatGPT to answer those questions because it wouldn't necessarily know. Lutando got you. Michelle, you got a question?
Sorry, wrong one. Just supposed to be a thumbs up.
No problem. Good, great. Thank you. Great. So what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go to our ChatGPTs. My ChatGPTs. Come on. Sorry. I need to get the link. I logged in as myself. Okay, so I'm going to share this link with you, and then I'm going to walk you through what you need to do, okay? Please click on that link and tell me if you can access the ChatGPT on your end. Thanks, Debs. Debs, tell me, are you on the free or the premium package for ChatGPT?
On the free, from what I can see.
All right, cool. That's great.
Good.
Guys, just give me a thumbs up if you can access that link. Please don't do anything just yet. I'm going to coach you through the next steps. Thanks, Yanga. Thanks, Doc. All right, great. Let's just wait for a few more. Lutando, Tulila, I know you're good. Tulila, thank you. Sfiso, Lutando, and Tando, are you guys good? Thanks, Tando.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, great, great. Looks like we're all here. All right, so here's what I need you guys to do. I'm going to send you the prompt, okay? I'm gonna send you a very short prompt. So we're gonna do very basic prompts, okay? I'm gonna send you this in the chat. So copy it, okay? Copy it. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. Once you've copied it, paste it in the chat. Don't press enter yet, okay? Because we need to go and fetch your questions and answers. So the ChatGPT is trained to do what I need. I would have requested that you do on your own manually, but I need you to be specific with that prompt. We all good? So you're gonna copy that prompt into your a blank open chat for the A Game Goal Achiever. We good? If I can just get 1 or 2 thumbs up. Right? Right. Once you've done that, remember you don't press enter. Then you're going to go to your questions and answers. And you are simply going to copy your questions and answers. Just the questions and answers. You good? On the first question. Make sense, guys? We good? You're going to copy these because we want to paste them inside that chat. Copy. And then you're going to simply paste them next to the prompt. We all good, guys? Thumbs up before you press enter. Good. Okay, and that's it. If you're done, thanks, Yanga. Got you. Cool. If you're happy, simply click on enter and it should start doing its magic. Yeah. Okay. I need you all to just take a minute to just read your personal vision narrative. And I'd like some feedback here. I'm going to stop sharing for now. If you're struggling, please, you can unmute yourself and speak or write in the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. But essentially, you should have your personal vision narrative. It's fairly basic, but it's supposed to help you to kick off the process. And if it's developed yours, I'd like for 1 or 2 of you guys to share that, to share some highlights around that. Anyone brave enough, or you still reading your narrative? Casper, hi. Never mind the silence. We're just doing an exercise. Is Casper? I think he left. Okay. Guys, anyone who wants to share? So it's either a good thing or a bad thing. Somebody needs to tell me. Sweet, sorry about that. But you shouldn't need to. Don't you have like a Google Doc on your end? Because you don't necessarily need Word. Anyone else? Great, thanks, Debs. Guys, anybody wants to share any highlights?
KK, hi, it's Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
I can just share that it's really good to read. Like, it makes me feel good and motivated to achieve that, actually. Yeah, it feels good. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it gives me joy. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And that's what we found is the well, not the trick to tricking people so that they can read the book, but is to give an indication of, hey, the things that you want deserve the attention that we've kind of given now in the last few minutes, you know. And it does exactly that for people. It makes you feel good, you know. Makes you feel good. Thanks, Michelle. Lutando, you want to share? Okay, so guys, any takers? 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Yep.
It's Michelle again.
Hi, Michelle.
I just like rereading it. And you know what's so cool is when I read it, it's almost like I can visualize it, which I've not been able to, because I've never articulated it as a narrative before, right?
Gotcha.
So now it's like, now I'm imagining it, not just reading it. Yeah.
I know what you mean. And it's like you are putting yourself in that situation. And what also helps is the way that it's written. You know, it's written in the future as if you've already achieved those things. And that's where part of the motivation comes in, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this simple one pager makes a difference in terms of how seriously they take their goals. Thanks, Michelle. Guys, anybody else? Maybe just a thumbs up to say, cool, we can move on, yeah?
I'm lost for words, KK. It's Leslie here. I think it's forcing one to reflect. Something that we don't usually do, right? But I'm lost for words. Goosebumps. That's all I can say. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Thanks, Leslie. Thanks, Doc. I appreciate that, man. And again, this is another reason why we just had to find another way to make people do this exercise in this manner and to shortcut the process, because asking, you know, those first few pages to be read, it can be hard. It can be difficult to turn a page. But once you've seen your goals in this manner, it motivates you that much more to at least go through the process. So what I'm going to share with you now is, so what then happens afterwards, okay? And I believe we may have the setting. I think we do have the setting in here. So remember I told you we've got 2 prompts, okay? This is, it's not going to get it precisely, but it's just to give you an idea. So I'm going to share this next prompt with you. I'm just going to stick it in the chat again. I mean, it's a simple one. You can literally just type it into your chat. Now, afterwards, okay, you would then copy this prompt, which is give me goals to pursue for the next 12 months towards my vision, right? So you're going to go back to your personal vision narrative, and then you are simply going to paste, and you'll see it. I'm not sure if it'll give all of us the same step. You see, it says next step, I'll help convert this narrative into 12 monthly goals and OKRs, right? And you can simply just say yes. Or you can, if it gives you options, then you can choose the option you want. So you can literally just say 12 goals, 12 monthly goals, or you can just say, you can just paste in this very same prompt that I shared with you. You press enter, it'll give it to you in the form of objectives and key results. Essentially, it's helping you to get closer to your goals, okay? And of course, it'll start with January, but you can change the month to whatever month you want. You can obviously copy and paste this into a Word document, to an Excel spreadsheet, or your actual project management tool. But essentially, it's starting to give you high-level goals. So it'll give you a goal, the objective that you got to achieve, and it'll give you the key results. So what are the bits and pieces that you can then work on towards achieving that one particular goal? And yeah, you want to keep it loose. You don't want to have too many goals in a month. I mean, this is just a way to keep it loose. You can have as many as you want, but what we found and through analyzing multiple goal setting practices is you don't want to have more than 3 goals in a quarter, okay? And sometimes those 3 goals may take you an entire 3 months to actually accomplish one, or it might be only a few weeks. So you want to be careful how you go about setting these goals. I mean, of course, this is merely to give you an indication of what achieving your first 12 months worth of goals towards that personal vision looks like, yeah? Any comments, guys? And then let's move on and close it. Any comments? What are you seeing? Any pennies dropping for you? Any light bulb moments coming? Any light bulb moments?
Absolutely incredible, KK. Amazing.
I'm glad you dig it. And for someone like you to have to say these comments, Michelle, it obviously means it's working. I mean, you guys work on extremely high level and sophisticated goals. So I'm glad this is adding value. Sfiso, Yanga, Lutando, anything from you guys? Sfiso, thanks. I see that. So again, once you've done that, it'll then give you.
Yeah, so it's just interesting, just listening to the conversation.
Great, thanks, Sfiso. Lutando, do you have a question? Do you want to say something?
Yes, and good evening to everyone. So about the goal setting,
Yeah.
so how do you, for example, let's say the particular goal or ambitions you have at the time is
Yeah.
influenced by how you feel, and then let's say 12 months or maybe 3 months down the line, something happens and then your entire situation changes. How do you then navigate, or let's say shift your compass towards still facing those goals? And
Yeah, that's a very good question. And the simplest way I can answer it, Lutando, because our situations are all going to be different, right? And that disruption might be extreme, or it might be something that happens for a couple of weeks. I mean, as young people and people who are of course in relationships, I've had relationships really knock me off my compass, in terms of say maybe there's been a disruption in a relationship, what I know is one of the things that do motivate me is every Monday, right, or Sunday evening, I will go and read my personal vision, right? It's one of the few things in my life that actually help me to get back. It might not be immediate, but it reminds me of what I'm working on, right? And I may not necessarily have much here about my goals, things like that. I mean, my personal goals with my family and so on. But I find that reading my personal vision narrative helps me a lot, Lutando. And I can adjust it to suit timelines. Maybe I pull out then one of my goals here in the goal setting. I will then take it out. Like some goals are not as critical as others. For example, one of the I of course have a podcast, right? And one of my goals is every month to put out two podcasts. Debs will tell you the last couple of weeks I've been saying I'm going to put out one, and I've got them. They are recorded. They just not finished editing. But certain things, Lutando, will be more important than others. Okay, so I'm more than happy to put my podcast aside so that I can focus on, for example, the event that we launched on Monday with the young people here in Soweto. And for us to focus on, having this event, putting this presentation together. So it's really up to you in terms of the adjustments that you want to make in your life around compromising or at least setting some goals aside. And that is exactly one of the reasons why you don't want to have too many goals, so that you can have that breathing room. Yeah. And another thing that helps is holding each other accountable. So you will read in the book. In the book, one of the things that I do talk about is the importance of having someone in your life that you are afraid of disappointing, like a mentor, like an elder, someone whom you will take this narrative to and say, mentor or father or whoever or mom, I really need you to help me keep accountable or remain accountable to my goals. And to actually have an agreement that if you don't achieve a certain goal, what will be the penalty for it and what will be the reward for it if you do achieve it? At one point, I remember my mom, there was a time when my mom loved a car I used to drive. And I remember I had a deal with myself that at the end of that particular year, if I don't achieve 3 of the goals that were very important to me, then I would give my car to my mom, right? As an example. Some people will say you want to go to gym, okay? If you don't go to gym in a particular week, you may have an agreement with yourself or with an accountability partner that you got to pay $100 and put it in a jar that you're going to give to charity. Those kind of things. But holding each other accountable as a team is very important. Having a mentor, very important. And of course, having these agreements with yourselves in terms of keeping yourself disciplined and accountable. Okay, guys, we've spent more time than I would have loved to on that. I'm going to quickly show you a few more things, okay? Now, those goals that are in ChatGPT, you are then going to go back to your. Remember, you had a couple of documents that you downloaded. I'm going to open the spreadsheet, the code template. Now, one of these tabs here at the bottom, it'll say my annual goals for a particular year. Of course, this is from last year. You can change the date. You will then come in here and then write your goals and your supporting activities. Remember, these ones over here. All right, and then you can track them that way. Or if you have a project management tool, you can do that. So I'm unfortunately going to rush over the next few steps. Do apologize. I don't want to keep you guys longer than I need to. So step number 1, you would have determined your income, which we have in the narrative. If you have a business, you want to put that together as well. There's financial projections, very basic, light ones. And then step 3 is where we were. You define your personal vision. You can do the same with your business, but your business is going to require that you do the same exercise, which is to complete the answers, the answers to the questions, and then feed it back into ChatGPT and ask it to develop your business vision narrative. That's if you have one, right? If you don't have one, your personal vision should be adequate. And then what you're going to do next is what we did literally we asked ChatGPT to help us convert the narrative into specific and measurable goals. Remember, we said only 12 months, okay? What you may want to do is say, give me 3 years, but it's going to be too much, okay? 3 years, that way it can help you see the future to some extent, the type of goals that you need to have. For example, if you're writing a book and you only want to publish it in 2 years, you know, it may mean, hey, write 500 words a week or whatever the case may be, okay? But once you've converted your narrative into specific and measurable goals, which the ChatGPT does for us, right? Then the next thing you're going to do is then you are going to schedule the projects, the goals, and tasks in your calendar, right? I know most young people don't really use their calendar. Let me show you how crazy my calendar looks, but it looks crazy because it helps me. It helps me deal with all the crazy ideas I have, right? So I'm gonna stop sharing this slide deck. I'm gonna take you to my live Outlook, yeah? So let me just explain something. If you are going to work out, or if you're gonna study, or you're gonna write a book, or whatever it is that you're going to do, chances are you have to do the same things every day, okay? So this is my my calendar for the week. You're gonna pick up some interesting things, right? So I do wake up early. You see, there's my A-game goal achiever system. Every Monday when I wake up, I read my narrative, okay? Sometimes I do some editing, I promise, on the podcast. Sometimes I don't, right? But every day, can you see at 5? So I'm a single dad. I wake my daughter up at 6:30 to get her ready for school. But before then, I would have done enough to fulfill me, to work towards my goals. You know, I'm gonna write my blog, I'm gonna edit the podcast, find guests to invite to the podcast, and of course, just build in those small steps, those activities every week that I need to fulfill in order to achieve my goals. So I have a friend in Uganda. I'll introduce him to you guys one of these days. We meet every Friday. I've got clients that I coach. If I take you to maybe next week, this is what my next week looks like, right? I mean, I'll even put in a day off in my calendar. I'll block it out. I think that's normal. Another interesting thing is weekends. Sometimes we don't plan our lives over weekends, okay? This has helped me a lot in terms of just keeping focused. And one of the big things that you'll hear about getting things done and getting your goals done is not to keep things in your head. So ensuring that my calendar is pre-planned, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing with my day, with my week. I mean, you ask me from now, let's look at July, the week of the 8th. My mornings are booked up, right? My own time. I know exactly what I'm going to do. This is my sales calls. Every day, whenever I can, I'm going to move this to a particular time of the day, and then I can stretch it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to do 2 hours of sales calls today. That's what it's going to be. All right. I'm going to get ready at that time. I'm going to work out, whatever the case may be. I've got my clients that I do coach in the mornings, some of them, right? But essentially, you want to cover as much of these goals, put them in steps and as tasks and activities in your calendar. Okay. All right, I'm going to rush through the rest. Sorry about this. Okay, and then using your calendar, you are then going to use it to then see if you are executing those goals. Some of them are daily, some of them are weekly, some of them are monthly. You just need to keep track of what you're doing. And if you keep doing that and you review and you track your progress and you keep yourself accountable, guys, nothing will stop you from achieving your goals. You may not achieve all of your goals, but we know the system has helped a lot of people to achieve more of their goals than before they had the system. So without me taking any more time, if there are any questions, I'll gladly take those questions. But what you have with you, you have the full book. You obviously have access to myself as well. I'm more than happy to, to set up another group chat like this where we can have the second phase of this discussion. And maybe as a review of some sort, because I know sometimes when you see things for the first time, it may be a bit tricky, maybe a little confusing. And it was a little bit unorthodox the way that I delivered it, but I wanted to make sure that we cover as many of these steps as possible, both, of course, the presentation itself and the exercise in the ChatGPT. Doc, Debs, everyone, thank you. If there are any questions, please feel free to shout. Yeah, I hope it was worth it. Yeah, it was worthwhile. It's the first time that we're doing it, that I'm doing it, at least with the ChatGPT component of it. Again, I hope it was useful.
So, KK, before we, Dr. Les, before you continue, if I may just add, I absolutely loved your session. Thank you so much. And somebody said to me about a year ago, in terms of my calendar, because I run my life using my Outlook calendar, they said take a jar. And in terms of putting the rocks, the stones, and the sand, think of it that way. So the rocks are your priorities, whatever those may be. Put those in the jar first. And that's how I schedule my calendar. So, for example, my children have left home. We have weekly family suppers. That's one of my rocks.
Nice.
That's in my diary.
Nice.
Every Wednesday night, it's a date. And then, you know, I'm a big paddle fan, so I put my paddle dates in. And work is a priority, so that goes into my schedule, and then I fill it with my stones and then the sand. And it has been phenomenal. I live my life to my diary. And then you look back, you know, a week in a week, you look back in arrears and you go, okay, this is what I've achieved, this is what I maybe didn't achieve, and then you just change the date and you reschedule. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you. I think Sfiso asked a question. Thanks, Debs. Do you want to speak to the event? Debs, do you want to speak to the event on the screen?
Yes. Again, on behalf of the board, KK, thank you very much for coming through. I think you have very well lived up to the promise and the objective, which was the session was going to be interactive and you know, eye-opening, if I may. Devs, you just made mention of the use of the calendar, etc. As simple as that may appear or come across, I think that's one of the most effective tools we can use. And just two other key takeaways for me is that we really can't achieve anything if we don't define it, or we can't achieve our goals if we don't define it. I think that is profound. And lastly, this is not just applicable for youngsters or for students. I think it cuts across, right? Personally, I have benefited, and I'll be sure to get in contact. And Debs, together with the rest of the board members, we will also see how best we can collaborate with KK and everyone else going forward. Again, team, everyone on the call, thank you for coming through. We do appreciate your time. I cannot thank you enough, KK. Thank you once more. And just parting notes, our conference date is out, the 9th to the 11th of November this year. Registrations are open, and particularly for students. If you can just remind me that I think over the 2 days, it is 1,200 per candidate. For students, there is. So please do pass out the word, do get in touch. We are available on WhatsApp. There is our number. The website is also live and interactive. Otherwise, you can get hold of us through the following email address, which is chair@saoug.co.za. We are almost 10 minutes after the hour. If I had the powers, KK, I would actually stretch this for the next 2 hours. Very informative, very interesting.
Thank you.
We have learned a great deal tonight. Everyone else, again, thank you for coming through. We do appreciate your partnership. KK, appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, Les. Thanks, Doc.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Yeah, we'll of course send our details
Sure.
out. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Debs. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Take care.